Okay, morning everybody. We're welcome to a experiment and demonstration of what we're trying to do is determine what is the best firewood or how much different each variety of wood is. We have, as you can see, evenly piled volume of 4 different types of wood. We have white poplar, we have spruce, we have birch, white birch, and tamarack. What we're going to do is there's all
weigh them all.
Well, there's lots of different things of how people measure wood and how good it is and all that kind of stuff. You see firewood comparisons where what guys do is they stack one of each in there and they light them on fire and see which one lasts, but it doesn't really, I don't think that makes sense in my book because they're all stacked together and which one is best and the draft is full. What we really want to do is determine how much wood, how much heat you get out of each one and how long the fire lasts compared to the other one. So the weather is going to be the same the next few days. So every morning we're going to start a fire with one of these products, but in the same conditions we can compare how much ash each one made, how long the fire lasted compared to all the others. We have the same volume, but I'm also curious how much each one weighs, because I understand that it's probably that you get about the same amount of heat per weight of, not volume, but weight, because each one is different densities and stuff. So is it going to turn out that you basically get the same amount of hours of heat per pound, or how is it going to work? So spruce, poplar, spruce, birch, tamarack, we're going to weigh each one right here so we can see how much each milk crate of the product weighs, and then we'll burn it all and kind of compare and see what happens. My suspicion, well, we know that these are poor quality. The question is birch or tamarack better? The internet says they're very similar. The old timers say that tamarack will burn your stove out, but most people think birch is. I don't know. This is heavy for sure. So let's get some weights and see. Well, that's heavy too. So watch this. Are you watching me? Okay, stand over there probably. Okay, so birch, we have 34.18 pounds. No, this tamarack, we're already messed up, right? So tamarack is 34.18 pounds for a milk crate. And birch, oh yeah, this is heavier. Birch, 37.34 pounds. Spruce, it's not as light as I thought. My guess would be 29.16 for spruce. That pen just quit. And the last one, poplar. That's still not bad. Probably 27 or something. 26.24. You got a different pen? Thanks. 26.24. So then, make sure I got the other one written down. 29.16. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
So the weights then so far, lighter to heavier. Oh, we're switched there. 26.25 pounds, 29, 37 and a third, 34. So for a theory of pounds per hour, then birch will last longer than tamarack. So that's where we're starting our, keep going. So then that's where we're starting our experiment. And so we'll start the fire. Which one are we going to burn first? Does it matter?
Doesn't matter.
So we'll burn, I guess, we'll probably try to burn it in weight, the lightest to the heaviest. So we'll start the poplar this morning, let it burn it out until it's burned down to the, looks like, well, that's where it's burned down as much as you should be throwing lots more wood in. We'll record how long. And we'll do that each morning, and each one heavier, and we would expect then the heavier the wood, the longer the fire should last. So now wait for the next one. Okay, so there's 8 pieces of paper. Then we'll, she's gonna do exactly the same lighting procedure every morning. So put the, just gonna use some paper on the bottom, fill the stove full, use some lighter fluid because some woods are a little more difficult to get going than others, and then it's a pretty even starting time, you know, once it's going kind of a thing. And then see how it lasts and what it does. So this stove will easily take that whole bundle of wood without any trouble at all, huh?
Oh yeah, it takes.
No, lots of people, they've got a 16-inch wood there, or a 16-inch stove that they can barely get all the stuff in there. So that's poplar, right?
That's poplar.
Okay, so
Put your fluid in first.
Yeah.
look at those long matches. Can you imagine if I had one of them when I was a kid? I'd be losing them and burning them up. They wouldn't even lasted in the house a week. Would have had them all gone. Just like a good pocket knife would have been gone and lost.
How did I get this one? Okay.
Your twin sister's the one that uses that all the time, so. Shout out to her grandchildren who are subscribers.
Okay. How much?
I would think that's enough.
I would think so.
And light the house on fire.
Yeah.
Okay, there's brave grandma starting the fire, wrecking the matches. Don't you know how much these things cost?
What, the matches?
Yeah.
I got them on sale.
How many decades ago?
Actually, just this when the variety store went out of business.
She's going now. Okay, and then so every morning, this is the procedure. Get the fire rolling, and then at the end of the day, we're going to take and clean it out and compare the ash volume as well. So, there we go. The start of the experiment is underway.
I will when it gets going real good, I'll close her down and shut the
draft.
down.
And then let her go and see how long it burns and what they burn down like. Well, we're starting day 3 of the process. Grandma's enjoying the science of it all. So far we have, this is the poplar ashes and the spruce ashes. Poplar is a little bit less, spruce is less than the poplar. Yes, less ashes for spruce, poplar produces more. And the poplar fire went out about 3 in the afternoon. The spruce went out 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And so then here's our tamarack this morning.
That's when the fan quits.
That's when your little whatever fan quits.
Yeah, there's no heat left.
And now we'll start the tamarack. I think you better start tomorrow, and tomorrow's earlier. You'll be up late waiting for it to finally go out. Anyway, that's what it's looking like. You put the big one in the middle or on the edge? That one might be better right in the middle, but it's heavier. I know at my house I've been burning some tamarack here for the last week or so, and it just like, wow, is this ever gonna go out? I've burned at least half of what I do with poplar.
Yeah. Okay, here goes.
And once again, thanks to Auntie Karen for the donation of the firelighter. Is that enough juice? That's how much you used?
I put on the last one.
But you said you had a little more trouble lighting the spruce, or it took a little longer?
It took a little longer.
Anyway. So in a few more minutes, that'll be going, and then we'll see how many. I would think if that went out at 8 o'clock last night, The tamarack, you're gonna be sleeping before it goes out tonight.
Before the fan quits, yes.
Yeah. Because it'll last way more than 2 hours longer, I bet.
Well, we'll see how much longer. That's why I was kind of starting them at the same time.
Yeah. Same time of day.
Same time of day.
Anyway, there's our tamarack. When that one's done, then we got our birch to go, and then we'll be all smarter.
Usually the last one.
The spruce was harder to light as well?
No, well, it was a little harder than the poplar, but I didn't have to.
So it didn't light like the poplar did. So are you going to spray some more juice, or?
I don't want to spray.
Stacy's been burning some tamarack too. You said he's a little harder to get going then?
Yeah, he says it's a little harder to get going than
Well, you better keep blowing on it.
Yeah. It looks like it will, but it isn't yet, you know what I mean? So I wondered about maybe if you'd had enough juice on it or not, but
yeah, but
I'm always throwing mine on the coals, so I never have to relight my fire. So that's what you got left of the birch.
the birch.
And how many hours then? 12 hours burning?
No, it's been 11.
But you're burning you're going until the
Fan.
until the fan up there quits, right?
Yeah.
So what's your opinion so far about the timing? Will birch be longer than tamarack or the same?
About the same, but it hasn't got near the heat as the tamarack.
All right.
The temperature's about the same, but yesterday the
It was way hotter in the house than burning birch.
Yeah, and birch here, it didn't get up to 80. It stayed. Yeah, it stayed at 79, 80 pretty well all day. Where the tamarack, yes, we had a.
Too hot in the house?
Oh, it was 83 or something. It was hot, I know, heck. So I think the tamarack has more heat.
And you had a little more ashes with the tamarack, but generally, like Stacy's been burning it, and it leaves coal, like unburned. Yeah, yeah. And these things here, this is like charcoal. A tiny little spark, and that'll just burn right up.
Oh yeah, it won't take long.
But but when you didn't disturb it, it was all.
So you've got this much ashes, and that much coal. So
yeah. The ash count was similar according to this experiment.
Yeah, ash is a little more than the spruce, but then you've got this
Those charcoal stuff. Okay, here is the final results of the firewood comparison between poplar, spruce, tamarack, and birch. And shout out to everybody who's watching that. You notice this kettle on the top of the stove there? I follow out of the house with Paul, and he found one of those in the bushes the other day and said, "Hey, does anyone have one of those still?" Yes, my mom has one on her wood stove still. So what we've got is we burned the 4 varieties. We burned poplar, spruce, tamarack, and birch in order because that's how they all were different in their weight from lightest to heaviest. And what we find is the ash amount in this situation, poplar produced that much ash in one day. Spruce was, 50% less maybe? 25% less of poplar, but similar. Tamarack actually has this higher, same as poplar, but there's an addendum or whatever to that one. And then birch here. So birch and spruce looks like it actually produced a little less. But in this situation, all of the wood was burned, piled up, and not really stirred. Tamarack is the only one that produces charcoal. And that's not kind of how it normally plays out. my friend Stacy, I delivered a bunch of wood to him, and he, because when you normally stir your stove in, it burns up all that stuff, and he finds that his ashes over the course of a week, poplar versus tamarack, he has half the tamarack ash that he has regular poplar. Now, here's the numbers, and this is what's interesting. So, what we have is the poplar weighed 26.24 pounds. So that was the milk crate air volume, right? It burned for 6 hours and 50 minutes. The spruce weighed 29.16 pounds. It burned for 11 hours and 15 minutes, so substantially more than the poplar. The tamarack burned for 13 hours and 30 minutes, but it weighed more, as 34.18 pounds. And the birch weighed more yet, 37.34 pounds for that milk crate load, and it burned for 13 hours and 45 minutes, so 15 minutes longer than the tamarack. If the ashes had been stirred up, they probably would have been basically the same. Then Mom says, hey, we're wondering about pounds per hour and all that kind of stuff. So then she made a second box of poplar with the same burn volume weight, not volume, but the same weight as the birch, burned it, and it burned for 12 hours and 45 minutes. So it's pretty close if you're going by the weight. So then we said, well, what are we doing here, pounds per hour? Of course, we divided into minutes. We found that this poplar, both of these poplar loads are okay poplar firewood, but not good stuff. It wasn't processed and premium poplar. The first load, it burned for 15.625 minutes per pound, but the better poplar burned for 20.5 minutes per pound. So there's a substantial difference between okay and okay better, but not even fantastic. Spruce burned for 23.15 minutes per pound. Tamarack, 23.7 minutes per pound. Birch, 22.1 minutes per pound. So if we look at those numbers, 21 almost, 23, 23 or 24 or 22, you're almost dealing with the same per pound. So if your wood quality is the same, I would suggest that if you're buying by weight, you better buy the cheapest stuff. If you're buying by volume, buy the heaviest stuff, if it's all been seasoned properly. The birch in this situation was more than, it was cut the previous year, processed in the spring, sat all summer, seasoning. The tamarack sat through 2 summers, not processed in a log deck, processed directly into the firewood box. The spruce was dry. That's the one that was seasoned properly and not too dry or too wet. Both of these poplars are salvage wood that really wasn't that great, but still good, decent poplar, but not good firewood. So that's what we find. So what does that mean to me? It means to me that if you're buying by volume, then do the math and see which one is the heaviest. Birch and tamarack look like they're basically the same value as far as by the cord, by the weight. So spruce, in my situation, birch and tamarack are worth, I don't know, I'll have to do the math on that, but I think no matter what you pay for, you're probably getting your value all the way straight across. But if you're packing it out of the bush, bring the heavy ones home because you don't have to put as much into the stove. So I hope we're all smarter. I am. At least I'm going to pretend to be. So thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you on the next one.